When I was 13, I played a lot of World of Warcraft. If you know anything about WoW, you know that when you're at a lower level, you will sometimes have higher level friends help you out. This guy was an online friend of my IRL friend and asked if I needed any help in the game, and I said sure. We got talking, and he told me that he was 13 as well, so we chatted a lot and became good friends. He lived in Texas and I lived in Canada, so it was just an online friendship. He eventually started to seem interested in me and began sending me poems and things. Eventually, he told me that he wasn't actually 13, he was college age. Me being only 13, I thought, oh, that's okay. We've already talked already for months, so I thought nothing of it, which was very naive of me. But being so young, it is understandable. He started getting really flirty, and I was flattered being a 13-year-old girl having a college-aged man interested in me. I thought it was cool. So wrong, I know. He asked for my phone number, and being young and stupid, I gave it to him. I also gave him my address so he could send me things in the mail. Then he said he wasn't actually college-aged. He was 40 and had 3 kids and a wife. One is very close in age to my age at the time. I stop talking to him and tell him to leave me alone. He starts calling my phone number and leaving drunk voicemails saying that he was going to come see me. I didn't know what to do, and I didn't want to get in trouble, so I said nothing. He wouldn't leave me alone, so I had to tell my parents, who told him to leave me alone, and he did. For a short time. Recently, he has found me by name, since I told him everything about me when I was 13, like an idiot, and keeps contacting me on all of my social media and also the email account that I've had since I was 13. He is still married and won't leave me alone. Not super creepy, but kinda creepy, as he knows my parents' address, and it is still the same as when I told him. He has messaged me saying that he is going to be in the area soon via LinkedIn. I didn't respond, and I pretend that I don't use my social media accounts. This happened around the early 2000s. I was around 8 years old at the time and was at my aunt's house. My cousin, her son, was a college student at the time, but he and my aunt would regularly babysit me while my parents were at work. He recently got a new Dell laptop to use for school. During this incident, I was hanging out in his room, but he was on his desktop doing homework while babysitting me, so he let me play on his laptop. Back then, Yahoo Messenger was what he used to chat with friends and our cousins, and he was logged in on his laptop. Of course, being the kid I was, I used his account to message some of our cousins or his friends, pretending to be him. Out of nowhere, I got a chat from someone I didn't recognize. Thinking it was a relative or his friend that didn't have their email or contact saved. The conversation seemed normal, until they asked for my age. Being a kid and inexperienced with the internet, I didn't think much of it at the time. So, pretending to be my cousin, I said I was a teenager. The person replied saying that they were a child. I can't remember the specific age, but they said that they were younger than my actual age. I knew that they were lying because why would a child be active on Yahoo Chat and articulate themselves so well? So I said,
"You're lying. You can't be that young and type that well."
The person then said that they were telling the truth and that I was lying about my age. I remember asking them to prove to me how they knew I was lying. They said that they can tell me what I was wearing at the time of the chat. At the time, I was wearing a pink and purple pajama set with a white cat on the shirt. The person said I was sitting on a bed with a pink shirt with a cat on it. I literally got the chills and felt the color leave my body. I looked around my cousin's room and saw that he had a Logitech QuickCam chat webcam connected to his laptop. I said to him,
"Are you messing with me right now?
No. What are you talking about?
Are you chatting with me on Yahoo Messenger?"
No. Do you see me on Yahoo right now?
He was right. He was on the internet browser the whole time. I even asked him to maximize his Yahoo chat window, and he had no conversation history with me. How could he when I was using his account? The person messaged me again saying,
"Why'd you stop replying? I know you're there."
I was petrified. I closed his laptop and left it on the bed. I can't remember if this laptop even had a webcam, but almost 17 years later, I still get chills thinking about this incident. I'm positive it wasn't my cousin, and whoever it was most likely hacked into his Logitech webcam or laptop. Edit. To add to this story, my cousin never admitted it was him messing around with me either, even after my initial confrontation. He also didn't have any active chats open at the time with other people I didn't see, as this happened within maybe 10 minutes. It was a pretty short conversation. The chat with me showed up on his desktop as it was on his laptop, me using his account to chat. Again, I was 8 and my cousin was around 19 or 20, so I don't think he would have trolled me that hard and never admit to it. I hope that clarifies any confusion. I wanted to get this off my chest for so long. It has been years. The story takes place around the time I was like 11 or 12. I could be mistaken because I realized what actually happened like 4 years ago. I never brought this story up again with my parents because I remember clearly that when they found out what happened, my mom got scared so bad that she nearly had a heart attack, and since she actually had one years ago, I don't want to stress her. When I was little, I was often home alone. I always had a babysitter, but as I got older, we didn't ask her to come anymore. This was around the time that I started going to middle school, so my schedule was coming home from school, the bus got me off directly in front of my house, eat the lunch my mom pre-made for me, and then wait, usually a couple of hours before she came home from work. At the time, we only had a family computer in the house. We each had our own account, but I didn't have a password so that they could check in on me from time to time. Around that time, I got into anime, so I just used it to watch them and save fan art. Then I discovered Windows Movie Maker and got to creating the sickest AMVs a young teenager could imagine. So, that's how I filled up those couple of hours, at least until I heard my mom coming back. Then I would rush into my room and pretend that I was doing homework all along, because I didn't want her to think I was a pushover. Then, all of a sudden, I started messaging with him. For the life of me, I can't remember how exactly he got into contact with me, but I feel like it was linked to my YouTube activity. Maybe he left a comment or something like that. I really can't remember. Anyways, the only info I got of him was that he was a man older than me, that he liked me and my work, and that he was lonely and needed a friend. We messaged on Skype, and every time we called, I had the cam on, but his wasn't. He said that it was broken, even his mic was. I never saw him or heard his voice, but he saw it and listened to me nearly every day. This is what terrifies me the most to this day. I don't remember very well what we talked about, but we did it every day. I would talk and he would respond via written message. I don't remember his name, but it was an actual name, not a nickname. It probably wasn't his real name, but this is just me assuming. I never once thought that it was inappropriate, and I wasn't uncomfortable when I talked with him, but I thought that it was strange that he wouldn't repair his PC even after all of those months. But at the end of the day, while strange, I thought I found a new friend that showered me in attention and compliments. For young me, freshly coming off being bullied for the entirety of elementary school, was like finding gold in a river. One particular exchange I remember vividly. I was eating a giant meringue my dad got for me, I love them, while I talked to him. He didn't write for a long time, so I asked if something was wrong, if he was still there. He replied after a while and said that I had very pretty pink lips. That threw me off, but at the moment, I didn't think much of it. I was saved by my mom. Even though she always worked herself to the bone, and it was not always the most admissible, she loved me with all of her heart and always had attention to details for everything, especially her only daughter. She one day noticed an envelope addressed to a man she didn't know. I was trying to send him a letter written by hand, because he said that his birthday was coming up and he wanted a present from me. He also began talking about the possibility of meeting in person. Questions ensued, and I happily told her of my faceless friend. She freaked out and immediately forbid me from talking to him and got my dad involved. They both made me promise to never contact that man again and took precautions so that neither him could contact me. I remember being bummed out for not being able to talk to him, but I also remember letting it go pretty quickly. Maybe because I was young, or because I shortly after met my best friend who also lived near me, so I finally had company. I don't know why I remembered what happened only many years later, but it was like a lightning struck me when I realized what exactly I risked during that period of my life. Every time I think about it, I get such a sense of dread that it's hard to shake off. Since I got my memories back, I never talked about this with anyone. My mom was literally my God-sent angel and was responsible for me never talking with that man again. So, dear creepy, faceless, and voiceless friend, let's continue to not meet. I hope you didn't harm anyone else.